Welcome to another episode of At the Stark's Table with me, Emma Stark, in my home from Glasgow, Scotland. Whether you are married, about to be married, or single, you will need these top tips to make sure you are rightly aligned on standing on solid ground for your relationship for the rest of your life. Join us. Family who are now devotees, I hope, of At the Stark's Table. We've done a few episodes and we are making ourselves, our toes curl, aren't we?
Oh, yes.
Yes. By our honesty levels.
I'm still here with my mother doing this.
True. And we want to talk in this episode about the build to the big day, which, as you said, most of your preparation for your marriage to look was more about the day than the life after.
Yeah. I think I'm embarrassed to say this, but I got a shock afterwards when I realised I was married.
Yes.
As in, because I was so focused on the wedding that almost the marriage was second.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the wedding and the event was very big, and it preoccupied my thoughts that actually I hadn't given a lot of time and preparation to the wedding is for a marriage. And this is kind of forever, you know?
That's highlighted even as someone's single. It's like, oh yeah, this whole marriage, big wedding day, get your Pinterest board with what kind of dress you want.
Say yes to the dress.
You completely forget about all of the build up in the relationship that has to change and develop before you hit that day.
Yeah.
So even if you're not yet, or even if you're married or you're not yet married, either side of pre or post marriage, this is for you, because a lot of this conversation comes out of stuff that we have learned because of the amount of pre-marriage counselling and preparation that we all do. You run classes, I do individuals, you're part of that team within the organisation. And these are just some top tips in terms of what you say, how you think, that put the foundation in.
That's right.
That actually, and it's not too late. You might have been married 40 years and you will need to put some of these backfill, my friends, backfill if some of these foundation stones are not in place. And actually, can I say, behind the camera, who you can't see, is one of the guys who I did marry. Oh no, I married David, but you know what I mean. We performed, and we did his pre-mat behind the camera. We did your pre-marriage stuff. So joy. So you might want to shout over the top your top tips into this, because we have not yet had a male voice on this. But anyway, okay. What do you need to know pre-marriage? That is the big question, or to put in if you have not put it in. I'll tell you where we start. I make couples draw up lists of things they will agree to never say to each other.
Interesting.
And things that they will always say to each other. It is fascinating. Because it exposes where the relationship is. But mostly in what you will promise to never say in your worst mood, in your most grumpy moment, in your I actually think I could strangle you right now, door slamming rage. I will still commit to never say these phrases. I know. Tell us, what are they? Well, each, I do actually add to the list for them. There are about 2 or 3 things that are on the list. But I think it's that important sense of that my words and my words to each other are like a farmer or a gardener. And our language is continually sowing things into the wellness of each other. And actually, though my shape might change, fat, thin, whatever it happens to be, hair loss, well, that's mainly for the men, sometimes for the women, we navigate a lot, and we forget a lot, but we rarely forget an ill-said word.
It's so true.
Absolutely.
And most of our pain is when somebody said to me,
Yeah.
that we understand that though my love language might be, affection or gifts, I will still have a garden in my heart
Absolutely.
for words said. Talk to us about words in your counselling rooms and how you unpick those. And actually how much of what you deal with is.
It is.
I was told I wasn't pretty, or I was told I wasn't attractive.
Yeah, and you realise in a marriage relationship, there's actually a responsibility on you. You're almost giving someone else their truth about their identity.
Oh, yes.
And that is just thrown around, and the enemy really comes in on that. And when we are married, it is a very vulnerable space, and there is almost not a where do I end and you begin, and where do you end and where do I begin. So actually the sharing of that and that shared identity has to actually be really honoured. And there is a responsibility there, because once those words are said, you're right, they're planted.
Yeah. They're seeds.
And then those seeds grow fruit.
Yeah.
And actually, they're not forgotten.
Yeah.
And even when, you can go over it, and there's forgiveness and there's love and but there is something that it can, just that phrase, you can't unsay it. You can't unsay it.
No.
And personally, like for me and for our journey, there were some things that I wish we'd sat with you then.
Yeah.
Before we were married. I really, really do. Because some of the things we said, the foundation was laid.
Yeah.
The foundation was laid for a mistrust.
Wow.
The foundation was laid for that there was no longer the belief that person thinks the best of me.
Yeah.
And I was no longer, both of us, we did not feel safe.
Oh, because of words.
All just because of words. And the journey we went on was actually, I said those words because of how I feel about me.
Yeah.
Oh.
Always.
Yeah.
And so this is what we work at with words.
Yeah.
And quite often couples will come and say, he said that, can you fix him?
Yes.
And then, he said this, fix me. And it's actually not because of a bad attitude or an unkindness. There's pain inside of that person.
Yeah.
And it attacks the other to defend.
Sure.
And what I would say is the most surprising thing is the actual sentences that cause harm and how individual it is to each person
It
that
is.
we work with.
It is.
Absolutely.
So for some couples, they throw around things about each other's bodies or whatever.
Yeah.
And it really doesn't. But
Yes.
no, for some of them, it doesn't land at all.
No.
It's not causing any harm. But for other couples, that's like the deepest rooted. And what we're really finding is that the things that are sitting and really causing those problems are usually individual, and it's the deep-rooted childhood trauma where it roots itself.
Yes.
And then we're seeing the fruits of it.
I think let's talk about the list that I'll talk about this that I kind of give couples as, and it's actually grown over the years. The kind of like, here's my you must have this on the do not say list, and then they populate it very specific. So very specific things I've heard from couples are, you must never say I'm just like my mother, or you must never say I'm just like my father. That's specific to a person's upbringing.
It is.
Yeah.
Don't even say that when I'm single.
You're just like
It's like, don't ever.
it's
No.
not a compliment. You're just like your mother. No, you're your own person. But so you get those, specific to the couple,
Yes.
where they clearly have a wounding.
Yeah.
But I have a list here. Let's go through the list, and you can pull your faces as you go. I think the top two are, you never use the word divorce or separation. even as an idle threat. Well, I'll just walk out on you, or I'll upgrade you for a new model. Any concept. Now we're touching a raw nerve here, because there might be a marriage in the room that has said this, but we'll talk about it. But any concept that puts an end date or a potential end date to that relationship. Because once you sow a seed that there is a back door, you put the entire relationship on a sugarly peg, as we would say. Now, I've actually said this online before and got pelters for it. But what about, an abusive relationship? That is different. And there are clearly biblical grounds for divorce. There are biblical grounds for divorce. Now, we can come to that. If you want to ask me a question on that, we can talk about biblical grounds for divorce.
That's a great conversation.
It's a great conversation. But we're talking about ending it within the context of biblical grounds, which is really about sexual sin, adultery, and the breaking of covenantal vows. But most marriages should never say, oh, well, I'll just divorce you, even if you are enraged, because you sow possibilities and you speak an end to a relationship that should be for forever.
Like, my personal rules within our relationship is do not ever say anything negative about my body in front of people.
That is my next. That is my next.
If you ever do it, I will stab you. Like, that's how I feel about it.
Yes.
Like, don't you dare, because you're the only person that gets to see that. So how dare you out me in that way?
Yes.
If you want to compliment me, fire on.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
So after divorce separation, for me, it is language about physical shape and attraction.
Yes. So important.
Now, it's very personal, because we each have particular body hang-ups. Debs.
We do. I mean, and I mean, my story is I've been varying weights as well. I've been married 21 years, and there's been 100 and odd pound weight gain in that, and losing it again.
Yeah.
And navigating a marriage relationship within that as well. And I think like for some it wouldn't land. And it's having that space to say, please don't ever say that.
Yes, is the importance of a curated conversation.
Yes.
Where you agree these things. It brings so much safety to a relationship.
It really does. It really does.
It really does.
And there's times now that we'll even say to each other, because I can be quite direct in my communication. And so for me, it's not loaded, or it's just communication. But my husband can say to me, would it be okay if you didn't say it like that? Because it feels like that. And they are ongoing daily conversations that we have to have. And that's about love, honour and respect, and just having that. And we actually used the backdoor conversation because we realised it wasn't necessarily threatened divorce or separation, but it was almost like, well, we'll try and work this out.
Yes, but if not, I've got a back door.
Exactly.
So
we never,
I will just divorce you.
We knew we never said what the back door was, but we were kind of, well, we'll try and fix this,
Yes.
And we had to actually say and agree together, there is no back door. That back door is bolted, it is chained, it is plastered over, and it does not exist.
Yeah. Yes. So never divorce and separation or end type threats that sow seeds. Agree your language on physical shape. What is okay.
Yeah, it is important.
Agree your personal things like, you're just like my mother. The other one I have on my list here that I say to them, don't use words like you are always. Because once you attack somebody with a word, you always do this, or you never do this, you actually completely undermine their sense of where they have achieved well or where they've grown in a relationship, and you pull the good that's been built up and you just completely destroy it with that you are always like this. And arguments that are in that you are always, you never, are very difficult to come back from.
They are.
I think it's like so important. Like, even as you're prepping for marriage, to understand communication and language and how to really navigate that well.
Yeah.
What my mum always taught me was to be able to own what you say.
Yes.
So like even just saying, when you do that, it makes me feel. I'm not saying that you're intending that, but my feelings are here, or this is how I've saw that.
Yes.
And so you're not putting it on the other person. It's not your fault. But if you want to get engaged in this conversation and admit to your wrongdoing, babe, that would be great.
Yes.
But it's really important.
No, yeah, we actually have an agreement that we don't use the word you.
Yeah.
In that discussion, it's always I feel because.
Very interesting.
And
rather than you did this to me,
yeah,
I feel because.
If it's a I mean normal conversations, but if it's in one that's emotional and has feeling behind it, we have an understand between us. We will not use the word you.
Interesting.
That's really good.
That's very powerful.
Yeah.
The other things on the list in terms of what you should be saying to each other, and again, that's very much you understand each other's insecurities and you generate a list based on, look, I feel insecure about this. I'm going to need you to say an awful lot that I'm strong or you're courageous or you're adventurous.
Yes.
I need to hear that a lot because I doubt myself, and please drop that language into this relationship. But in the other one is I am sorry.
Yes.
Oh, and I forgive you are the two biggies. And I wonder whether the boomers, my parents' generation, the concept of saying I'm sorry, I forgive you in that, was not in common parlance. And we watched some things, I think, my age, the Gen, what am I again? I always forget. Gen X. I can never remember what I am.
I'm not going to try.
I'm not a boomer. I'm definitely not a boomer. I'm not that old. But that sense of what David and I understood was that we had never seen a certain sort of conflict resolution that then made conflict bad. And my first question to couples who come to me is, have you had a ding dong, slam the door, raging, I cannot stand you type moment, because I want to understand that you understand conflict resolution.
And it sounds maybe a bit intense, but anytime I've got into a relationship, that's actually the question you ask me, and that's not even marriage.
I do ask it,
But you say, have you guys had a falling out yet? Have you argued? Have you? And if I say no, it's because you're right, but I get it.
We all know
I
that.
understand it, because until you have an argument, how are you able to understand how you resolve?
You have to be able to, you have to, I think there's an art to conflict resolution.
Yeah.
But part of the art to conflict resolution is the speed of saying, I am sorry and I forgive you. And even if you don't believe it, the decree of those words, your emotions then catch up with the I'm sorry or I forgive you.
Yeah.
But actually, then you as my child will have seen Daddy and I do conflict resolution with I'm sorry and I forgive you, so that it's not that we don't disagree, but that actually we are working in a Christ-like way with the sorry and I forgive you. It's not hidden, but it's understood that this is actually how you grow mature love.
And I know this will tie into raising teenagers and children later.
Yeah.
But if you do have any sort of conflict or disagreement in front of children, I would say show some sort of resolve.
You have to show resolve,
and
resolution.
You do. If you say I'm sorry in front of your children, it also clicks in for them that, oh no, they're fine.
Yes, and that
That's
behaviour wasn't.
normal.
Yes,
That's allowed.
yes, absolutely. So
So
I'm
just always, resolve in private, but demonstrate it as well. And
Yes.
But like your generation, I don't know if it's every member of your generation, I'm looking at you both. It's like, you guys have done that so good though, because we sit round the table with you guys or round your house, and I watch you guys like have a little or usually with you it's you're saying something, David's saying Emma.
it's true, he does, really.
But I really do watch you guys apologise to each other, and and so that's definitely more in my marriage now that I've seen you guys do it.
Yeah, and I think as well, sometimes I was guilty of holding back on that apology because it felt like I was saying that what you didn't matter.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or it wasn't painful. And so when I say sorry, that means
I forgot.
it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But actually that was painful.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so it's that understanding of, it's okay, I'm sorry, I forgive you. But have meaning with that.
Yeah.
But actually understanding as well that doesn't mean, that means sorry. That doesn't mean I'll then continue to bring it up for the rest of time.
No.
You know,
Yeah.
it actually is a resolution in that, you know, you are moving forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we push in this what we don't say about physical appearance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have dealt with some car crash marriage situations. There's a couple that are kind of swirling around in my head right now that I've dealt with over the years of this stuff. And it is whenever one party says, I don't find you physically attractive anymore.
Yikes.
So hard to come back from
It
that.
is almost impossible. It is almost impossible. And when people have told me their stories of what they have been told, my partner said to me, he's no longer sexually turned on by me.
Yeah.
And what that does to completely rob intimacy, how do you open yourself up to physical encounter or even spiritual vulnerability or emotional, vulnerability? So there's a fly here. Whenever
Yeah.
it is,
No.
I'm to be fair, I am surprised that they're still together.
Is it like usually women that are saying that their partners? Is it men that say those statements?
Do you know what?
most
I've had
often?
one of each.
Okay.
I've had one of each, and actually, they're not even all in this culture.
Okay.
Some of them are overseas, just so we're clear on that. But I remember a lady saying to me, "I'm not sexually attracted to my husband." Now, she hadn't actually told him that,
Okay.
but he had changed a lot during the process of quite a long marriage, as things do physically. And she was getting ready to verbalize that. Now, I did intervene at that point. But sorry, this fly is buzzing around. It's making it real. We're keeping it real. We are in my living room with all of the
You see us all clapping in the middle.
we're clapping the fly. But the pain of that is nearly in a woman's heart. And actually, I have said into one relationship, you, mister, may need to say to her 10,000 times, you are attractive, and it may still not be enough to undo what you sowed.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah.
Now, that then takes us into the next kind of pre-marriage
Yes.
or relational
No,
bit.
this is interesting. I've heard you say this and teach this and, demonstrate this so many times. And I think it ties in so perfectly to what you were saying about weight loss change and hair change and growth.
Yes.
I think this next step, phenomenal.
So here's
Very
my
interesting.
theory, and you've heard me talk about this before. I think there's a great difference between immature love, which is I'm so attracted to you, chemistry, teenage urgency type animal kind of tendencies.
Yeah.
And we think that is the ultimate version of love. But it
just
is the
attraction.
step before mature love. And mature love is much more rewarding. And mature love for me does this. I choose you. And it is, I choose you every day. I choose to be attracted to you.
Yeah.
And I choose that you are the one for me. And I choose to think that you are the be all and end all of what I will need in a relationship, all of that. And I think sometimes you have to be quite intentional. Until I'm married, as I said earlier, 24 years. Do I still choose David? Yes. But I've done it so many years that now it's not an awkward thought or a conjured thought that I force into my head. I've so honed a lifestyle where he is everything I want in a partner, and I have schooled myself in the choice of him so that we move through all of the years of children and weight loss and weight gain and stress and anxiety and moments of great physical reward and then moments of physical staleness depending on what's going on in our relationship. But the underpinning current is a current that says I choose you. And it's so built into the fabric, I choose you, that actually there therefore is no space left for a thought to grow of you are not attractive.
100%.
And so actually what I have said in these marriages is that's not true. It's not true that you don't find that person attractive. The reality of it is they are for you. You just haven't trained yourself in righteous choosing. Go back and start again and choose properly and train yourself into the journey of mature love, which is a choice.
It is.
Absolutely.
It is, and it's choosing every day, and it might be an automatic choosing now, like you say.
It does become more instinctively compulsive,
but it's still a choosing. And I think quite often it's the Prince Charming syndrome, you know, like he's going to be perfect and he's going to meet all my needs. And,
yes.
You know, I'll be happy every single day. It'll be amazing. Marriage is hard work. Can we just say
it has its
hard
moments.
Work. As in, what I mean is, it's not just me. It's two people that have to compromise daily, and that is mature love. And it's a selfless love.
Yeah.
And that is when we say I choose you, we're saying I am not choosing me. And
yes.
And that's the mature decision. And the immature me, and the beginning of my marriage journey was I'm still choosing me. And the true joy and happiness of my marriage is I'm not choosing me, I choose you.
Yeah.
And he is not choosing him, he is choosing me. So both of us are being chosen, but by each other. Yeah. And that's been a huge part of our journey.
Yeah.
So Ali, talk around the lie then, you know, you complete me. Because we have in our notes here, you complete me is a lie. Yeah. That sense that you know, I'm only with you because you earn enough money and you make me, you know, that it's not that.
I'm like, no. How can it be that? I don't even know. I don't know what else to say about that. But it's a lie.
It's a lie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jesus is the center.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jesus makes us whole, and marriage is a sacrificial love, which is the most mature love of I choose you rather than you make me feel a certain way. You complete me. No. It's not you complete me. It's all about me.
Yeah.
I choose you.
I choose you.
Also, how can you ever say that knowing that you grow and change and evolve in relationship? Because the word complete sounds so final as well. When you use that word saying you complete me, it sounds like that's you fulfilled, that's you full, that's you done. But you don't do that in a relationship because you're still growing and changing. The only thing that does is God.
I think as well, when you say to someone you complete me and you put your agenda at the highest, that's when you see in relationships, or when we sit with couples, you see, oh, we've grown in different directions.
Yes.
Because I expected you to complete me.
Yes.
And therefore I've grown off in this direction and you were supposed to come. And actually, well, no, I choose you. And so we meet in the middle.
Yes.
And I think that's really important to understand that the compromise thing, and the meeting in the middle and the coming together as one, the minute we make it about one or the other,
you make me look better,
then we pull in the opposite direction from that center place.
For me, that sense of I choose you and I choose you every day and I choose to love you as you are, and you get so into that instinctive habit of what that does is it stops jealousy, because you will always have in a relationship one who is earning more at that time, or one who is fitter and healthier at that time, or one who is, you know, really hitting what they want to do as a career, whereas the other one is not. And it's unusual in marriages for, like, we earn the same amount of money and we're in the same place in our careers and we're in the same place in our mental health. It just doesn't exist.
No.
And so when I choose you, I choose you, I choose you, I choose you, for David and I, it has eroded any sense of competitive jealousy.
Yeah.
That actually he is genuinely thrilled when I am at my best and flying high, because he chooses me. And that choice of choosing me means he wants my best.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I choose him. So if he happens to be in a low spot or, you know, whatever, you know, because remember, David was in the hospital for ages with pneumonia and, you know, nearly died, and then a heart attack. Yeah. And, you know, you look rough when you're in a hospital bed, but at the same time, I've had some rough hospital near-death experiences. And you look at your partner, I choose you, I choose you. Therefore, I'm not resentful of where you are right now. And I choose you, and my choice of you elevates you to be better. And I think it is telling if any member of a husband and wife team talks about jealousy of the other. Oh my goodness me, it is, to me, that is shocking. You are only jealous because you have not chose that person. You're selfish.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
Jealousy is selfishness.
It
Yeah.
is.
And we talk about it, don't we? About what a gift that you get to borrow from that person. And that's that's the conversation Luke and I have at times. Yeah, there's times it's like this, isn't it? And and it's not just because he's great, I'm not. You know, at certain points, it's just like, I'm feeling down here right now. Isn't it amazing? I have a person I can borrow from.
Like what my success is.
There's that,
success, your success is my
and that
success.
strength in that place currently, and it's that sharing of, and not that, oh, I need it too. It's that in a way it is the complete thing, but it's the completeness together, not the completing me.
Yeah.
I think if I said to you, and I'm going to put you guys on the spot right now,
It's not like you.
no, it's not. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't mind people feeling a little bit uncomfortable. What do you love the most about your spouses? I know you're not married.
Easy peasy.
Me?
No.
I was going to say,
No.
Jesus is great. I love him to bits.
Jesus is, yes.
Yeah.
Because I think how we answer that question, I am putting you on the spot right now,
It's
it is massively revealing about the stability of that relationship.
Yeah. Oh,
now you're going to be like, no, now we're going to do a live assessment. Yeah, what do you love? It's the first question I always ask. What do you love about each other? Because, oh no, I'm not going to preempt.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, what
Okay.
do you love the most about Taylor?
The thing that I love the most about him is that he can see beauty in anyone. So he has this, like, so we'll talk about people, and he will, he just will pass comment on people, and he'll say, oh, I was speaking to this person, don't you just think she's got really beautiful eyes? And I'll be like, yeah, babe, I've never noticed that before. Yeah, she does have really beautiful eyes. And I think just the way that he sees people and sees the world is, I don't know, I just think it's so gorgeous.
Through Taylor's eyes.
Yeah, Taylor's
The world
eyes.
through Taylor's eyes.
Yeah.
He actually, now that you say that, we who know you're Caroline, you need to know Taylor McFarlane, your husband. But he is. He has that effervescent positivity about. You're so great at that.
Yeah, and I just love it.
Oh, so you get to see yourself through his eyes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh,
Mostly when other people tell me.
Okay.
And that is true,
Yeah, he
because
talks about it
actually,
all the
and a
time.
huge healing part for me and how I see myself and my inner healing journey through the years has been seeing how my husband loves me.
Yeah.
You know, and not in a self-serving, oh, he loves me way, but just actually that journey of seeing myself through him and through his eyes, and it is an incredible healing thing.
Yeah.
Now, you're able to tell me that because you choose him. So you've already chosen, and you continue to choose. So what you're choosing of him enables you to see the best in him.
Yeah.
What do you love the most about Luke?
Do you know that I love lots of things about Luke, but the thing I'm thinking about right now is the one thing I love the most is the thing I found the most difficult and irritating in the beginning.
Oh.
Because that's been my journey of me seeing Luke like this is Luke.
Yeah.
And so Luke, as you know, he's a quiet, contemplative type guy.
Yeah.
But incredibly deep, but wisdom like
Yes.
no other. And you don't always want to go into a conversation and be given a scripture on it and then hear a whole, and literally every conversation is like that. And he's already talked to the Lord for 10 years about it, and he knows, a lot about it. But that side of him and his beautiful mind was a part of him that I actually was really irritated with.
Oh.
Yeah, it was because I wasn't part of it.
Ah.
And that was his space with the Lord, and his own thoughts and I have learned a lot about me in trying to get in on that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And actually now that is the most beautiful thing about my husband, because it actually makes him uniquely him, and he is able to be who he is and offer and the gift he is to everyone else.
Beautiful.
Because he has that.
Wow. So, guys watching this, I want you to do this if you're married or engaged. What do I love the most about my intended or my spouse? If your answers are all physically orientated, I love their body,
Should be some of that though.
there should be some of that. Yes, there should be some of that. And actually, we are coming to making your marriage pop in another episode. So yes, we are going to talk about that. But if it's all physical, you have not understood your spouse. It cannot be all physically based. That is top tip number one.
Yeah.
If you answer, and I've had this more times than I can tell you, oh, he makes me feel. I love how he makes me feel. I love how she makes me feel. You have started your relationship on selfish basis. Either sexually motivated, I love their body, or I love how they make me feel. You have got to be able to see that person for who they are and celebrate wisdom, celebrate their look at the world, their lens, celebrate, as I do with David, their patient faithfulness and their intelligent wisdom. And actually you choose to see that, not, oh, they do this for me, or, oh, they're so great in bed. No. That to me, and when you ask those questions and people, and I take notes in particularly the pre-marriage stuff, about what you love about, and people can create like 2 pages of what they love about each other, and it can be so selfish what this person does for me. And mature love that puts a foundation in place is understanding, I love this person for who they are.
That's it. Yeah.
Yes. Wow, Jessica, you're not yet married.
No.
Tell us what you're learning the
I'm
most.
learning lots.
You're learning lots.
I'm going to have the best marriage ever. No,
I like the sound of that.
Yeah, I've got all the top tips. I'm like, I'll go to my future husband and be like, listen, this is what we have to do every day. We have to tell each other 3 things we love about each other. But no, I think it's training me to get it, any relationship I'll get into, friendship, love, my husband, my fiance, who they are. It's like training me not to be so selfish in the way I think and the way I look, and continually remind myself they're not a project. I will end up loving the things I start off hating or being annoyed at. I will, there's things that will grow on me. I think it's just exciting to know that actually it's not going to be perfect, and that's kind of how beautiful it is.
Yes.
And excited to know someone and be able to love someone and choose someone above yourself.
Yeah.
And that's exciting.
It is, and I suppose what we're doing together as we talk about this is we are grabbing marriage again from the kingdoms of this world, the kingdoms of darkness, this sense of meet my needs, make me feel great. I've got bored of you, which is just not even a possibility within the kingdom of. It's just not a possibility, because in the kingdom of God, it is that sacrificial. I choose you, I love you for who you are, and I do that again and again. I have not littered the seed bed or the garden soil that we live in with words that are just additional thorns. Now, if you have said any things that are growing thistles and thorn bushes, you need to, as a husband and wife team, repent of that to each other. And you need to pull out, in the name of Jesus, I pull out of this marriage anything that has grown up around unkind and unsafe words that puts this in a shaky foundation. You can just decree that over marriages right now. And certainly if you are an engaged couple, and that'll be a smaller percentage watching this, do your marriage prep rightly. Agree what you're going to say, agree what you're not going to say to each other, and figure out why you love each other. And above everything, choose them every single day of your life.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Exciting.
Thank you for joining us from At the Starks table. We send love to you and to yours, and warm greetings from Glasgow. And very genuinely, this is my living room. You are seeing my back garden. You are seeing my array of plants and my children's chessboard. And we rejoice that you're going on this very honest and very personal journey.
Yeah.
All right. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.